to Mr. Lennon Tan from the Singapore manufacturing sector. Singapore Manufacturing Federation, thank you.
His Excellency, Mr. Agustin Garcia Lopez, Dean of the Diplomatic Community in Singapore, and Ambassador Extraordinary and Planetary of Mexico to Singapore. Ambassador at Large, His Excellency Ong Teng Yong, and various distinguished ambassadors, high commissioners, and members of the diplomatic community in Singapore. I apologize for not being able to address each one of you. Ms. Nomita Da, CEO of Sun Media Communications. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Very good morning. It's an honor for me to speak before this esteemed audience at the World's Opportunity Forum 2024. Now, the world is undergoing profound changes in economic power, technology, and sustainability, as mentioned earlier by Nomita. And these trends present both challenges and opportunities. Now, today I will speak a little bit more of a perspective from a Singapore business, Singapore manufacturers, and therefore the rest of my speech will go as such. In a recent interview, one of our famous thought leader in Singapore, Professor Kishore Mahbubani, in a recent interview, described the next 10 years to be possibly the most exciting 10 years in recent human history of geopolitics and disruption in terms of technology. And that we should all fasten our seatbelts to prepare for what's to come. But first, allow me to begin by giving a very brief overview of Singapore's manufacturing landscape. Last year, the manufacturing sector contributed about 22% of the Singapore GDP. While most of us know Singapore to be a financial hub, know Singapore to be a tourism services sector, but manufacturing remained to be the main pillar of Singapore GDP. Among the various sectors, our high-end electronic sectors leads manufacturing sector. We produce roughly about 10% of the world's semiconductor and ICs. And our pharmaceutical and chemical industries also play a pivotal role in manufacturing. In 2020, the Ministry of Trade and Industry launched the Manufacturing 2030 Plan, aiming to expand the sector by 50% over the next 10 years. This goal is definitely opportunistic for manufacturers here in Singapore. To prepare for this expansion, the Singapore Manufacturing Federation developed the SHIP initiative. Well, S stands for Sustainability, H for Human Capital, I for Internationalization, and P for Productivity. So, Ambassador, your ship will have all this in mind as well when we visit it next week. These pillars will guide us through the coming years. Now, under the internationalization pillar, Singapore being a little red dot, we have limited land and labor resources, and therefore, Singapore Plus One strategy, and for those manufacturers who have gone out, more recently, the China Plus One strategy becomes increasingly relevant. Our manufacturers and businesses are constantly looking for attractive destinations for expansion, where they can offer new opportunities and avenue for growth in their markets. Jim O'Neill, the economist who coined BRIC, once said, "The emerging markets are the engines of global growth. They are driving the future. The opportunities they present are immense." and I reconcile with his view. For decades, economic growth has been concentrated in developed economies. However, a fundamental shift is underway with regions such as ASEAN, India, Latin America, Middle East, and Africa leading the pack. Singapore wants to explore the opportunities and benefit from this shift. Now, as a member of ASEAN, Singapore is well positioned to capitalize on the region's dynamic growth. With a population of over 660 million, with a combined GDP of 3.2 trillion, ASEAN's demand for goods and services is on the rise, providing significant opportunities for Singapore manufacturers. Most recently, the Johor-Singapore Special Economic Zone initiative by the Singapore and Malaysian governments adds another layer of opportunities, offering strategic advantages due to its proximities and potential for cross-border collaborations. Perhaps we will hear more from his High Commissioner, Dr. Jeffrey bin Mohammed Mustafa, and Mr. Lennon Tan of Midas later. According to the Asian Development Bank, ASEAN is projected to grow by around 4.9% annually by a young workforce, strategic location, and increased FDIs. This growth solidifies ASEAN as a critical contributor to global economic expansion. India has rapidly become a magnet for FDIs, attracting over 85 billion in 2023 alone, with a population exceeding 1.4 billion and a growing middle class. India is a high-growth destination that Singaporean businesses cannot afford to overlook. India's digital transformation, combined with its strong manufacturing base, presents significant opportunities for partnerships in areas such as technology, manufacturing, and sustainable energy. I'm sure we'll hear more from his High Commissioner, Dr. Shapat, later on for more of this, for more details. The Middle East is undergoing significant economic diversification, particularly in technology, healthcare, and renewable energy. For Singapore manufacture, these sectors represent key areas for collaboration and export growth. Africa, too, is a continent on the rise. The African Continental Free Trade Area, AFCFTA, is creating a more unified and accessible market. And with a growing consumer base, Africa represents significant opportunities for Singaporean businesses. Again, we'll hear more exciting details later on from His Excellency Abdullah Muhammad, as well as the One African panel discussion later. Latin America region has also great strengths in agricultural production, sustainable tourism, manufacturing, and renewable energy. It is also significant in terms of reserve of critical materials that are vital to the development of green transition. Definitely an area where Singapore businesses are keen to explore. Next, now one cannot avoid talking about opportunity without mentioning AI. I'm sure we talked about AI for the past year. Now, according to McKinsey, AI has the potential to contribute an additional 13 trillion to global GDP by 2030. That's not very far away. With AI-driven productivity gains potentially adding 1.2% annually to the global GDP growth. Countries that are proactively implementing AI strategies will be at the forefront of this new wave of economic transformation. AI allows small and medium-sized enterprises to automate production, optimize supply chain, enhance customer engagement, and leveraging the playing field with larger corporations. Singapore plans to help our manufacturers, especially the SMEs, to adopt AI early and compete globally. Singapore National AI Strategy is integral to its Smart Nation vision. By embedding AI across various manufacturing sectors, processes can be highly automated and optimized while creating high value and highly customized products. This can strengthen Singapore's position as a global manufacturing hub. AI will be a cornerstone of Singapore's growth in the coming decade. In October this year, Singapore A-Star Center of Excellence for AI in Manufacturing will be launched in collaboration with SMF. Climate change. Climate change is a fundamental area whereby it's reshaping the global economic landscape. Singapore is committed to being at the forefront of this transition towards sustainable development. The shift towards green economies presents significant opportunities for our manufacturers to innovate and lead in sustainable practices. With the implementation of CBAM in Europe, starting in 1st of January 2026, the need for businesses to adopt green practices is ever more pressing. Singapore has made substantial investment in green energy technologies. Now, I just want to give some mental picture about, we talked about AI. When you use ChatGPT, you generate one picture. That energy used to generate that picture can charge 96 iPhones, one picture. So having that in mind, when we adopt AI, and if we don't have green energy, it's not sustainable. Right? So therefore, we want to say that our manufacturer must meet the growing demand for renewable energy solutions by developing energy-efficient products and leveraging our expertise in sustainable manufacturing. Circular economy presents a unique opportunity for us to innovate by designing products that minimizes waste and maximize reuse. That will be the global trend. Singapore can lead in sectors such as electronics, construction, materials, and consumer goods, embracing circular economy principles. Singapore hopes to be well positioned as one of the countries that lead in green manufacturing, contributing significantly to both regional and global sustainability goals. Industry 5.0. It is first coined by the EU in 2021 to be the next wave of industry transformation. It focuses on human-centric use of AI and robotics, and while taking sustainability in mind. In January this year, SMF officially introduced Industry 5.0 movement during our Manufacturing Day Summit 2024, where manufacturing members were introduced to the concept of collaboration between humans, the environment, and intelligent machines. Lastly, Singapore stands at a pivotal moment in its industrialization journey. The shift in global power, the rise of AI, and the transition to sustainable economies all present immense opportunity for us. By embracing these trends, Singapore manufacturers can lead the way to create prosperous and resilient futures for our economy. I look forward to the opportunities that will be discussed later at length by the various panels. And as Nomita mentioned in her speech just now, as well as Peter Drucker famously said, the best way to predict the future is to create it. Let us take proactive steps to harness this trend, create drive, and drive progress together. Have a fruitful and productive day ahead. Thank you very much.